Meeting of the Glendale Commission on the Status of Women. Ms. Mabubian, may we have roll call, please?
Garsavanian?
Yes.
Malakian?
Here.
Marakut?
Here.
Pillsbury?
Here.
Toshchun? Walker?
Here.
Chair Devine.
Here. Next item.
Before we move on, Chair Devine, I'd like to note that Commissioner Toshchun's absence is excused. He is ill and sends his apologies for not being able to be here for his first meeting.
Thank you.
At 1A, we have the report regarding the posting of the agenda. The agenda for the December 14, 2009 meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside of City Hall on or before December 11, 2009.
Thank you. Next item.
At 2A, we have introduction of new commissioners, and I would like to introduce Karine Garsavanian, who is one of our two new commissioners, and I welcome her on board. At 2B, we have a presentation to former commissioners, Angel Ketefian, Marie Lamel, Elizabeth Manasarian, and Ruth Sobey.
Okay, can we have them please come forward? Commissioners? It's a bittersweet moment, ladies. Sad to see this evening come, and we'll move on. We have a plaque for each one of you, and it says, "The City of Glendale recognizes Ruth Sobey, Elizabeth Manasarian, Marie Lamel, with gratitude for your years of outstanding service to the Commission on the Status of Women."
They are.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
May we say a word?
Would any of you like to say a
Yes,
word
I
or
would.
two? I'm trying to raise
I would.
Sorry.
I would. Chair Devine and the commissioners, I just wanted to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to serve on the commission. It was a joy to work with Lucy, Christine, Lana, and all of you. And I truly enjoyed all the projects we did for the women and children in the community of Glendale. And it was an honor to serve City of Glendale. And I will continue serving City of Glendale and the people of Glendale because you all are my family. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
I want to take this moment to congratulate Elizabeth because in the last week she received 2 awards. One was the Young Armenian Leadership and Volunteerism Award. She and Ms. Varpetian both received those awards. So congratulations to the 2 of you. And Elizabeth also was awarded by the Glendale Association of Realtors Volunteer of the Year. So congratulations on
Thank
those.
you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I'll just say, Elizabeth's words go for all of us.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. And again, I will also continue to work with all of you on different projects, and hopefully we will continue to make Glendale shine.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
I just want to say a few words. We want to thank the commissioners who are here, and I know one of them, Commissioner Ketefian, is not here, but it's been a real pleasure working with you. Commissioner Manasarian, thank you for being our Vice Commissioner. All the work that you've done, especially in helping us with the Jewels of Glendale, that is really, truly appreciated, and also being very visible to the community despite all your hectic schedule and other commitments. Thank you. Commissioner Sobey, thank you also for being a wonderful member of the commission, for being a professional, helping us with the PR, the marketing, the communications. And, you know, I'm going to miss my buddy here, who's my seatmate. And it's been really wonderful working with you. And of course to Commissioner Lamel, who's been a really wonderful commissioner, and she just jumped right in when she was a new commissioner, helping us with the Jewels of Glendale. And I think that's one of the legacies that she's going to be bringing forth, is the expertise, then the relationships, and all the help that you've given in helping us produce a real quality Jewels of Glendale event. And you're all going to be sorely missed, and we really hope that we continue the working relationship and especially the friendships that we've forged. Thank you.
Anyone else like to comment? Well, I'd just like to end with thank the three of you very much. It's been a joy working with all of you, and let's keep in touch and keep supporting the commission. I know you all will. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item, please.
At 3, we have oral comment. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Time is limited to an amount to be set by the chair. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or discussion. Staff may refer the matter to the proper department for investigation and report.
And we have no cards. So, next item, please.
At 4, consent items. A is the approval of the minutes of the regular commission meeting held on September 14, 2009. And if you'll allow me, I will have Staff Member Varpetian explain why we are bringing this back to the commission again.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, the reason this item is coming back is at the time that the minutes were discussed, there was no formal motion made. So we brought this item back after reviewing the tape. We found that there was no formal motion that was made, and we should have caught that at the meeting. So that particular item is being brought back for review and formal approval by the board. I should note that with our newest commissioner, you would have to abstain since you weren't at the meeting.
Okay, so shall we take a vote? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of September the 14th?
Yeah. And again, if we could take them one at a time, that would be
Okay,
best.
fine. September 14th? Do I have a motion?
Sure, I move to accept the minutes for the September 14th meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
And we have unanimous consent?
Yes.
Well, I think you have three
of us?
affirmative votes.
Shall we
and
have
one,
an oral?
We don't need that. I think we just have one abstention.
Okay.
And the record will reflect that.
Fine. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting held on October 12th? That
No.
was the special meeting.
No,
The first was the special, no.
Regular meeting.
With regard to the regular meeting of October 12th, our record reflects that of the commissioners who were present here, only Commissioner or Chair Devine and Commissioner Pillsbury were present. The problem that presents for us is that there would be two commissioners who, if they had no comments and agreed with the way that the minutes reflected, you'd have two affirmative votes and two abstentions, and that would not carry the motion. What we would do in that particular instance is that the commissioners who were absent, if they choose to review the video and are able to in fact affirm that what they saw on video is in fact what is reflected in the minutes, then under those circumstances, that motion would get approved, because then you would have the requisite number of votes. And if that is the case here, then we would be able to proceed. If that isn't, then we'd have to bring this item back to a future time until that could be done. So the question for us would be is, did Commissioner Walker know to review the video? And then if you have, then you'd be able to take a vote on that.
This is for the October.
October 12th meeting, correct?
I haven't fully reviewed the video.
Okay, so maybe what we could do is bring this item back to a future meeting, and then if you would have the opportunity to review that, then we can do that then.
And it's already archived on the
Yes.
web. Okay. October 12, is it?
The,
Third.
do you want to read the third item into the minutes?
At C, we have approval of the minutes of the special commission meeting held on October 21st, 2009.
Okay.
The unique problem that this item presents is that it wasn't televised, and you don't have the opportunity to go back and review it. And so, in this circumstance, you wouldn't be able to approve these minutes. And the reason that presents a problem is that in the future, if the only action that you took on that day is challenged, you wouldn't have the opportunity to go back and reflect the record. Fortunately, though, that there was only one item, and that was the location of the Jules event. And what we can do with regard to that is basically affirm that vote at a different meeting, and then if it's challenged, if the action that was taken on October 21st was challenged, you could easily go to a different date and say, yes, but we affirm that vote at a different meeting, and so those minutes would get approved. So I think what we would probably do is not bring this item back, because you really don't have the opportunity to review it at a future time. But we can perhaps bring back the actual agenda item and then get it affirmed at a different meeting, and then therefore you would forego any possible challenge that you would have to the action that you took on that date.
And can we not do that tonight when we talk about the luncheon?
We can.
That's on the agenda, and then have it approved at that time?
Although you've only got one motion that's listed, we should probably bring that back to a future time and actually list it as a separate motion.
Okay. So then that finishes that item, and we're on to the next one.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, please.
5, business agenda, A, action items. Item 1 is the Commission on the Status of Women's Master Calendar of Events 2009. And at A, there's a motion providing direction regarding the Commission on the Status of Women's Master Calendar.
Okay, are there any additions or corrections that we see on the calendar? Then do I have a motion to approve the calendar as presented?
I move that we approve the calendar as presented.
Second?
I second it.
And consensus? Next item, please.
At 2 is an update and discussion of 2009 Rosie Goes to Wall Street Day Camp, also known as Camp Rosie. And at A is a motion appointing 2 members to the Camp Rosie Committee.
Okay, do you have a report, a short report, Ms. Baboumian?
Yes.
Please.
Camp Rosie, which has been implemented by the Commission on the Status of Women in the City of Glendale for the past 3 years, was developed for young women and girls in order to empower them to make personal, educational, financial, and career choices from an expanded set of possibilities so they can achieve self-sufficiency, career satisfaction, and long-term financial security. Throughout both sessions of Camp Rosie, the girls focused on self-development and enrichment and learned essential skills for success and financial literacy. This year, Camp Rosie was held in 2 3-week sessions. The first session, which was dedicated solely to girls in the Glendale Youth Alliance program, was held from July 6 to July 24, Monday through Friday, from 1:30 to 5:30 p.m. The second session, which was open to qualifying girls and young women from the City of Glendale, was held from August 3rd to August 20th, Monday through Thursday, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The total cost of the program was $17,653.49, and the total cost of the program was paid for by Community Development Block Grant, which is also known as CDBG grant, and in-kind donations. You have included a chart that provides information on Camp Rosie attendance. Overall, we had 44 participants, 36 of which were low-income participants. We also utilized pre- and post-test evaluation tools that were administered to the participants. These measured self-confidence, financial literacy, awareness, and future outlook. And in all 3 components, participants did demonstrate improvement. In looking ahead to Camp Rosie for 2010, staff respectfully recommends that the Commission appoint 2 members to serve on a committee along with staff to discuss the future format of Camp Rosie. The committee, along with staff, will also continue to refine evaluation tools to measure the desired outcome of each activity and will continue to fine-tune each session to meet the specific needs of future Camp Rosie participants.
Thank you. So, in preparation for Camp Rosie next summer. It's our wish that we kind of tweak it, look at it, look at the responses from the girls, the critiques that they did, and in this economic time, perhaps adjust it so that it becomes more affordable. So what I'd like to do, what we'd like staff and myself would like to do is have 2 volunteers to serve on a committee and meet with the staff for Camp Rosie and work on the program and see what kind of productive changes we can make. I'd like to personally be on the committee. Do I have another volunteer? Commissioner Pillsbury,
I would like to be on the committee. I also have a question, though, for staff. I noticed in the budget that the actual cost was way below the projected cost. How did that happen? I mean, it was a huge difference.
Yes. Last year we had to pay for facilities, which was a big portion of the costs. This year we used Parks and Rec, Pacific Edison Community Center, which did help us significantly. I believe that cost was approximately over $13,000, and that did help. And when staff prepared the original proposal numbers, we did give ourselves room to play with. But yes, this year's Camp Rosie was significantly less. We did have materials left over from last year, for example, T-shirts that were donated that we used. So
I think the staff salaries were lower also, correct?
we've used the same staff in the past.
I think what happened is the number of hours
Yeah.
of Camp Rosie were cut, so that was how we also saved money on staff cost. Director, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then we have Commissioner Pillsbury volunteering for this committee and myself, so.
How many members do you need in the committee?
Well, according to the Brown Act, we can only 2.
Well, you could, if you had fewer than 3, that means 1 or 2 people on the committee. Then the only difference is that if you had 3 or more, then you'd have to Brown Act those, and you'd have to have you'd have to post agendas, etc. If you had 2, then you wouldn't have to do that because it would be an ad hoc committee.
But I'd like to volunteer for the evaluation aspect.
Okay, there's no problem with that. We'll just have to, Ms. Babumian will have to post the meetings, and anyone in the public can come to those meetings. Okay, it's fine. It's great. 3, sure.
Great.
Okay, and we don't need a motion on that. We just...
No, you do. You actually have an agenda item that requires a motion.
Okay, so do I have a motion that we have 3 commissioners on the committee to formally evaluate Camp Rosie and tweak? I have a motion to that effect.
I move that we approve the appointment of 3 commissioners for this committee.
Second?
A second.
Do we have consensus?
Yeah.
Do we have consensus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, please.
At 3, we have consideration and discussion of student ex officio search and committee appointments for the year 2010. And at 8 is a motion appointing members to the Student Screening and Selection Committee.
Okay. Do you want to do a short report, Ms. Babumian, so that for the new commissioners?
Certainly. In April 2004, pursuant to Glendale Municipal Code, the Commission adopted a resolution which established the qualifications, term, procedures, standards, and rules for the appointment of 2 student ex officio members. Staff respectfully recommends that the Commission establish the 2010 Screening and Selection Committee for the student ex officio search. The Commission may appoint commissioners to serve on this committee, and the committee has, by precedent, screened and selected these members. Current student commissioners have been appointed to the Screening and Selection Committee, so the current student ex officio members are more than welcome to sit in. And packets of these submissions have been prepared, and they are ready to be distributed to the committee for review and screening. It is anticipated that no more than one meeting of the committee would be needed to come to consensus after interviews of the applicants, and the new student ex officios will be appointed to their positions at the January 2010 meeting.
Very good. And I understand we have 8 applicants. And I must say, judging from the 2 ex officios that we have now, the committee has done a very good job in the past, and I suspect that the 2 that volunteer for this committee will do equally as well. So are there 2 volunteers for this committee to choose our next 2 officios, ex officios?
Sure.
Ms. Garsavanian?
I would.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Okay.
But does it have to be?
Yeah, we'd like to join too.
Yeah. Or is that possible?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
And
whoever else.
Commissioner Walker?
Yes, I'd like to volunteer.
Okay, very good. So we have 2 commissioners and 2 ex officios on the committee?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, ladies. Do I have a motion to that effect?
I will move to appoint the 2 commissioners and 2 ex officios to the committee to choose the next set of ex officios.
A second?
I second.
Have consensus? Yes. Okay. Very good. Next item, please.
At 4, we have appointment of the chair of the 2010 Jewels of Glendale fundraising event, and at A is a motion to appoint this chair.
Okay.
Would you like a
Please,
report?
please, Ms. Verloomian, yes.
Okay. Pursuant to standing direction from the Commission on the Status of Women, planning for the 6th annual Jewels of Glendale event is underway. The Jewels of Glendale is the major fundraising event of the Commission, and it is held in March to honor Women's History Month and to bring attention to the accomplishments of the women in the city of Glendale. The event is scheduled to be held on Thursday, March 11, 2010 at the Glendale Hilton Hotel, and nominations for the 2010 Jewels of Glendale Award can be accepted as of tomorrow, December 15th. Interested parties or organizations can nominate up to 2 women for consideration for this award. And at this time, staff respectfully recommends that the Commission appoint a member to serve as the chair. The chair will work with staff to ensure the proper planning, coordination, and implementation of a successful event. The chair and staff will solicit commissioners to volunteer their efforts in the following areas, and there are 4 areas. There are sponsorships, which coordinate materials for the sponsorships. Giveaways will coordinate the solicitation and distribution of giveaways for the event. Opportunity drawing silent auction. This person will coordinate solicitation on behalf of the commission and record keeping of gifts and items for the opportunity drawing and or silent auction. And then we have speaker talent, and this person will secure a speaker and any entertainment for the event. It is a standing recommendation of the Policy and Program Committee that each commission member commit to securing at least 5 major sponsorships and 5 items for the silent auction, should there be a silent auction. In previous years, commissioners have also each voluntarily donated a basket for the silent auction, and staff is seeking commission direction with regards to who will chair the Jewels event and who will help assist in each of the 4 additional areas of planning.
Thank you. For our new commissioner, and for those of you who have been here, you already know this, that this is our sole fundraising event of the year, so it's very, very important. And we need a leader that will organize and bring some new ideas to this project, and so I'm hoping that with 5 of us, it's kind of a short staff. We're used to having 7, but this year it's 5 of us that will be working on this project. So I'd like to open the floor for a volunteer for lead.
Can we also discuss some of what Christine...
Absolutely, but shall we first get a, or do you want, depends on what the commission wants to do. Ms. Farpetian, is there any particular, we can do it in any order that you want.
I am happy to volunteer to be the chair, but I also wanted to discuss the 4 categories because it seems to me there are some major things left out and also some things in there that we might not necessarily want. I believe that ticket sales needs to be a priority because since the goal is to build community, we want to get people there, and we want to get people there who will pay for the tickets. So that is a major thing. I also think the core of the event is choosing the recipient of the award. So we need to do that. And I know that you said that it's as of tomorrow, people can apply. I think we also need to set a deadline as, say, January 15th that would close the process, and then we would choose within a week because people need a chance to, muster their tables and invite people and stuff like that. So those are the things I would add, the awards and the ticket sales. On the takeaway, I found the silent auction to be extremely problematic for a number of reasons, and I would like to junk that altogether. And in terms of opportunity drawing, that would be for future discussion. I think that there are other things that could be more effective, but those are my thoughts. To add ticket sales and awards, and to get rid of the silent auction.
Okay, shall we take each one of those separately and discuss it and decide how we want to handle each of those items? And I also, are there any other commission comments? Commissioner Walker, do you have any comments about the report?
Yeah, I know that the Jewels of Glendale, the awardees, the selection and the deadline, I know that once we've formulated the committee, it naturally follows that you have another, committee also within the commission to be, which is assigned to identify, the standards, and then, to get that process going. And that's how we usually start that process. But I agree with Commissioner Pillsbury that, we need to have like a specific timetable, for that, so that we don't wait until the last minute. Regarding the ticket sales, I think it's important to identify realistically how much our having a real good budget is important. So I don't know, maybe that's another area. The finance, will be another area that can be incorporated here, or should the chair of the Jewels of Glendale, want to pursue that in conjunction with the staff? But I think that's really critical to identify what your targets are, and then from there you identify how much is your targeted ticket sales, and also have a cushion at the end in terms of seeing, do we want to be able to open it up to the community if there's not a lot of, responses and so on. So those are some sort of mid-course adjustments that people need to identify. I think, I know silent auction, that's really a lot of responsibility, but I would caution us in terms of looking at the fiscal impact in terms of not doing a silent auction, because I know that that's a huge percentage in the past, like $10,000 or a certain percentage. Ms. Babumian, do we have that?
Currently, I don't have the figures as to what portion of the sales that the silent auction made up from last year's Jewels, but that is definitely something I can bring back in considering whether or not the commission would like to do a
Because
silent auction.
if we don't have that, then we need to identify other sources of revenue, because ticket sales is not, enough to cover.
One thing to consider, though, is the amount of hours and the amount of goodwill that was spent in order to acquire the silent auction items, and whether that time and energy and effort could be better spent. My opinion is that it can be better spent, but obviously it's a commission decision.
if I can interject, I think that we can do almost as well with an opportunity drawing, and perhaps have 5 important prizes that we can sell tickets for. I don't believe the silent auction has ever brought in $10,000. I think maybe 3 to 4 is more realistic. But I think we can make that with the opportunity drawing if we have good prizes, good articles that we're selling tickets for. So, and I think that's a lot easier than doing a silent auction. I think we have to keep in mind that we're working with 5 people and not 7 people, and we don't want to overtax. We have to keep this, I think, this year as simple as we can, and just hope that we get the support from the community that we need to keep our programs going. And I think from what I've seen, all of the luncheons that I've gone to recently, they've all had small opportunity drawing prizes that have just been fabulous, and they've sold a lot of tickets. And I think for ease and simplicity, that might be the best way to go. And I think that's something that perhaps the chair of the event should maybe make the decision on, of course, with our help. So if that's something that you think is would work for you in this instance, we can always. Commissioner Garsavani, and how do you have any opinion on this at all? You've been to luncheons, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but
yeah, I actually like silent auctions. It gives some kind of energy in the public. People like to buy, they're interested in what they're going to get.
So our next question is, did you want to run the silent auction for our luncheon?
Yeah, I would.
Well,
Commissioner Pillsbury?
I am dead set against the silent auction because it took up, not only was it a lot of work for everybody beforehand, but it took up a lot of time at the actual event, and which slowed the event down. And I think strongly that we should stick to our core goals of what do we want out of this event. And I think that the goals are obviously to raise money, to build community, and to draw attention to the work that we do. And that's through the people winning the prizes and the volunteer opportunities. One of the ideas that has been one of the ideas would be, since this is the year of the volunteer, that we invite volunteer organizations to come, and they have tables, and so people can see where they'd volunteer, to keep it more about the work of the commission rather than about shopping, rather than about, sort of a long whole day event. We want to be able to attract women that need to go back to work. Anyway, I do have strong opinions, but other people have opinions too.
Well, I think characterizing our past auctions or our past events as just focusing on opportunities to go shopping and so on, negates, the focus that we've had in the past. And I don't want people to have that impression. Okay, and that's kind of like the feedback that I'm, getting from Commissioner Pillsbury. And I understand that it is really a lot of work, and reducing the commission from 7 to 5 is really going to be taxing. But there's also other aspects of the auction that Commissioner Garsavanian, has mentioned that, again, it adds to, the spirit of the event. It's another opportunity for people to kind of like mingle, and opportunity for the community to be recognized for some of the services that they've donated and so on. So, there's other advantages, that's related to that. That saying that identifying what the pros and the cons are, I think we need to focus again on what is our fiscal target. Okay, and what are the fiscal implications? And if you take away that certain event or activity, what are we going to replace it that's going to be, kind of commensurate in terms of providing the resources that we're going to need?
Well, I also think that if we put more of a focus on ads, we can also make money there. Instead of asking people for gifts for the silent auction, we ask them to buy an ad in our program, and that way we can make up some of that money as well. So I think with an opportunity drawing and selling ads to go into the program, we can almost or pretty close to match the money that we would have gotten on the silent auction. Again, with 5 of us, and tonight it's 4 of us, there's a lot of work to doing a silent auction. It takes a lot of people. It takes supervision, it takes organization, it takes gathering, et cetera, and that is huge, and it can be huge. Ms. Baboumian.
Chair Devine, if I may answer Commissioner Walker's question.
Okay.
Last year, we had approximately $3,000 revenue from the silent auction.
I think I was, because I've done some of the figures and so on, and unfortunately I don't have my laptop. I usually have the archived financial records. I was thinking of the gross amount that we generate from the community, and usually you get about 40% of whatever you've targeted.
Okay. Well, I can see that we're divided on this particular item. So I think until we get a 5th member here, I don't know that we can take a vote on the opportunity drawing or versus the silent auction.
I don't think we really have to decide right now.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms.
members
Beers.
of the Commission, Yasmin Beers, Deputy City Manager, if I can offer some input and see where the Commission would like to go with something like this. And it is kind of a divided in terms of some of the opinions here. But, if you have a chair who is going to chair the actual Jewels event, something like this could be taken up by the chair and whoever is volunteering along with the chair to really kind of set the parameters for the Jewels event along with staff. In terms of the silent auction items or opportunity tickets, how you're going to handle advertisements, etc., because all of the nuances and the details couldn't necessarily be dealt with here up at the dais with all of you. So if the chair of the Jewels event would be willing to basically head that up and say, well, we're going to have some more discussion and receive more input on how you would actually go about doing, whether it's an opportunity or a silent auction, that would be okay, I think. And to add, if you're specifically talking about silent auction items and the amount of time it also takes the staff in terms of administrative ability outside of the staff that's assigned to the event itself later on with the finance department and the ability to follow up on some payments or non-payments is also a big task to have at hand. So, in terms of staff's recommendation, especially in this economic time frame, and all of you go to all these events, and so do we in terms of City of Glendale employees, to have opportunity drawings and having individuals walking the room, trying to sell tickets and utilizing volunteers to do that, having the Year of the Volunteer, as well as some really kind of key ticket items for a few silent auction items or however it is that you set it up, might be the best approach this year. And again, we haven't made any more than $3,500 on any given year, maybe tops $4,000 for silent auction items, not the total event, but just silent auction items. And the amount of time that goes into it, as you all said, is tremendous on your part and then on our part as well. So, it might be something that to consider. You might not be able to get there tonight, and we think that's okay.
Okay. So we can more or less leave that to the chair of the Jewels Luncheon to discuss with staff and come up with the decision. And she is responsible for planning the event, so it would be a natural fit that she would dictate what exactly goes into the success of the luncheon.
And of course, taking the feedback that you receive
Yes.
here at the meeting and putting that into place. And each year you're going to have a different chair of the event, and each person's going to add a different flair to it, which will make it interesting each year.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll leave that.
See if anybody else wanted to be chair. Shouldn't be a fork.
Well, I didn't. Did anyone else volunteer for chair that's here? I don't think so. Did they? No.
Madam Chair, I don't think
Yes.
we've asked for that item yet. I think you had one person who expressed an opinion, but I don't know that we've taken it up overall. So
Okay, so let's...
at the
so why
appropriate
don't
time,
we
you may
just-
consider doing that.
Well, why don't we do that now? Why don't we do that first
Okay.
before we... Okay, so I asked again, do we have a volunteer to be chair of the Jewels?
I will volunteer.
Okay, now do I need some sort of a motion? So do I...
If there are no other volunteers, then you may ask for a motion.
Okay. Are there any other volunteers? Do I have a motion for Commissioner Pillsbury to be the chair of the Jewels Luncheon?
Yes.
You so move?
I think Commissioner Garcevanyan...
I agree.
Okay, I think this is your first meeting, so it's understandable. Maybe we can assist you. Is it your desire to move that Commissioner Pillsbury chair that event?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. And we have consensus. Okay, so that puts Commissioner Pillsbury in charge, and she can take all of our input and decide. But I think tonight what we want to do is get the volunteers for the big chair, the big, what am I trying to say? Committees, so that we can proceed with, and she'll have people that she can go to and direct. So how do we, are we going to, we can break it up, we can do sponsorships and ads. Commissioner Pillsbury, how do you see this happening?
Yeah, I think sponsorship and ads would work. Okay, so we have four people, so each
do.
person has to do one thing.
Committee, yeah.
Yes. Committee chair.
We have, I think the awards and the speaker, that all goes together because
Okay.
that's the content part of it.
Okay. We can,
And-
go ahead.
I think this whole category of giveaways, opportunity drawing, silent auction is one category because that's stuff.
Okay.
Any of the other stuff that's decided, obviously, as a, so that's sort of three main categories.
Okay.
And Commissioner Walker mentioned finance as a separate category, and I was wondering what you had in mind. I mean, how that would be separate versus each of the things would have their own.
It's having your overall
Budget.
budget for the event, identifying what your incomes are, okay, and what the expenditures are, and then comparing it from the past.
So that would be
Then-
a staff. The staff is
yeah,
in the best
Right.
position to be kind of in charge of that, especially because we're talking about City of Glendale money, and there's a fiduciary responsibility to safeguard it.
Yes, Commissioner
So,
Pillsbury.
staff would be in charge of the finance part. So, are you thinking, Chair Devine, that we need a fourth category?
Yes, and now that we're kind of blocking them together, I'm thinking maybe we could do sponsorships and have ads as a separate category, committee. Ads.
And then there's ticket sales, too. I mean, it seems like maybe, are sponsorships the tables?
Yes.
Ads are the ads in the program.
Correct.
And ticket sales, so ticket sales would go with sponsorships. That's putting people at a table.
Correct.
And then the ads, selling the ads would be a separate category.
Ads would be in the program, so you could put ads and the program together. We could do that.
So put sponsorship and ticket sales together and put ads.
Sponsorship, yes.
And then selling advertisements and general work on the program would be together.
So what are the committees now? Can somebody recap?
Would you like me?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So I
Chris.
make
Yes.
sure I'm also
Please,
on the same
Ms.
page.
Babumian.
I have 4 categories.
Okay.
1 would be advertisements, 2 would be sponsorships and ticket sales, 3 would be giveaways, opportunity drawing, silent auction, and 4 would be speaker, talent, and awards.
Ticket sales.
Ticket sales are with sponsorships. That's about selling tables.
Yes.
I would like to recommend that we separate the swags from the raffle silent auction. As we've done in the past, it makes it easier to just identify who your vendors are specific to the giveaway baskets.
If we want to have giveaways.
Well, I think the swag and the opportunity drawing or the silent auction is kind of basically the same. And usually what's happened in the past, even if someone has taken the swag committee, it's usually somebody, one of the other commissioners that comes in with the swag. So that's kind of I don't want to say an easy committee, but it's
not an easy committee. It depends on how many, like filling in a bag for like 300 people, and then having the volunteers and
well, it may not,
transporting and so on.
but this is the whole idea here as well, is that maybe this year we won't do a bag full of things. Maybe we will come up with an idea for just one item, and if we get one item that's donated to everyone as swag, then that job is done, and then that person can move on to the other.
Then I think that's really important to identify what is the vision, because I'm just basing it on in the past as how we've done, and I know that it is a lot of work transporting them, getting the baskets, the tissues, and filling it up and so on. That and if that is where we're going to be headed, then, as I've done that in the past, then I'd like to volunteer for that. But if that's not what we're going to be doing, then, we need direction in terms of where we're going. Or it seems right now that things are kind of up in the air in terms of really what the form is of the, of the Jewels of Glendale is, and,
Right. Well, I think a lot of that is because of the transition here, and we're trying to get this as organized as we can tonight. So, Commissioner Pillsbury, how do you see the swag? And I hate to put you on the spot like this. I know that's not good.
One possibility for right now would be for everybody to say what things they're interested in working on, and then we could decide together how to divvy people up, because with these new rules, we can only have 2 people on a committee. And, so it looks like everybody's going to be in charge of one committee and maybe helping with something else. So everybody's working in pairs, but they might be different pairs. So if everybody said the order of what they wanted to work on, we might be able to put the puzzle together.
Right. Yes.
Especially once there was some more direction. I've only just taken this on, so I haven't, and
you make a good point, and I think that's what we have to do. Tonight we have to simply volunteer for, we have the 4 categories, okay? Let's volunteer for which one we have an interest in, and then once we get into the actual planning of it in our committees, then we can decide what direction that committee is going in, okay? So we'll go with then the sponsorship and tickets. That's the swag and the some drawing or silent auction, whichever Commissioner Pillsbury decides. Speaker and the awards, and the last is the ads, program and ads. So I open the floor to volunteers for the different committees.
I'd like to volunteer for the Speaker Talent Awards.
And I would volunteer for giveaways.
Giveaways, great, okay. And I will do I'll volunteer for the sponsorships.
The tough one.
Well, we all have to work together on that one.
Exactly.
Everyone has to get a sponsor, at least one sponsorship, and hopefully more for that one. So I'll be calling, making sure that we're all working on that.
So there is one person who isn't here.
Yes, and I guess he gets the
ads.
That's what happens when you're missing. You're absent. Sorry about that. But he gets the programs and the ads.
What is the programs and ads again?
Selling ads for the program, and then helping to set up the other things that go into the program, like description of the winner. I mean, whatever we decide to put in the program.
Whatever help that Ms. Baboumian will need for the programs, and also for the ads, we'll all be doing that as well. We'll all be helping him with that. We'll all be selling tickets. We'll all be trying to get sponsorships. All five of us will be working on the ads. So it's just that we need one person to be the organizer of that, or the lead of that committee. So we have that now, do we? Okay, so do I need a motion to allow each of the volunteers their committee chair?
Since nobody overlapped and wanted one that somebody else
How about
wanted,
that's a good thing, huh?
Works out.
Yes, it does. Okay, do I have a motion to accept these volunteers for the committees, the commissioners for their committees?
I move that we accept the different volunteers for the subcommittees for the Jewels of Glendale.
Second? Second?
Seconded.
Commissioner Varsavanian has seconded the motion, and we have unanimous consent? Yes?
Yes.
Very good, thank you. And we'll all be working very hard on this because, as I said, this is our sole fundraising event. And for those of you that are out there listening, remember that the applications will be posted tomorrow for your Women of Courage Award. And the deadline will be January 15th. So please go to our website and get the applications. Ms. Baboumian, do you want to add any more to that?
I could add our website for
Okay.
those people.
All
It's www.ci.glendale.ca.us/women. My apologies.
Okay.
And it will be on the main page, so it'll be fairly easy to find once people get to the commission's page.
Good, thank you. Okay, next item, please.
At 5 is consideration and discussion of guidelines for Year of the Volunteer presentations at regular meetings. And at A, we have a motion providing direction regarding these guidelines.
Okay, report, please, Ms. Baboumian.
Chair Devine, members of the Commission, each year the Commission on the Status of Women has selected a special focus and develops its programming to reflect this focus. This helps provide a topical framework to enhance and enrich the standing annual programs as well as special events during the year. Past themes have included 2007 was Year of the Glendale Girl, 2008 was Women's Leadership, and this year, 2009, was Women's Health. And the focus for 2010, as decided by the Commission last year, is Year of the Volunteer. And as a part of this focus, what the Commission can do is create a set of guidelines to allow various nonprofit organizations from the City of Glendale to be placed on the agenda for each of our regular meetings for the Commission on the Status of Women, so that these organizations may inform the general public about their organization and invite members of the community to sign up as volunteers. Staff respectfully recommends that a set of guidelines be established to determine which organizations are suitable to present at a commission meeting. Criteria that the commission may wish to consider may include the following: that the organization be an established nonprofit, that the organization provides services to the community which are in line with the mission and pledge to the community that the commission is committed to, as in serve women and girls in Glendale in some capacity, that the organization have a need to recruit volunteers to help carry out their own mission, and that no more than 2 organizations present at each regular commission meeting. A cross-section of organizations in Glendale that staff is considering at this time that may be appropriate, given this criteria, would be Door of Hope, Path Achieve, Sir Optimist International of Glendale, Glendale Adventist Hospital, Armenian Relief Society, YWCA, Glendale Memorial Hospital, Verdugo Hills Hospital, and Catholic Charities. This is in no way a complete list. These are just ones that, are common organizations that would be appropriate at this time.
Okay. I think what's important here is that we make sure that the criteria that we establish will remove the arbitrary decision-making by staff. So we have to be sure that we are really clear on who can apply or who can request to come to the commission meeting to speak. So do you have comments on the criteria that is stated in the agenda? The first one is that we'll just go through them one at a time, and then if you have others that you would like to include. The first one is the organization must be an established nonprofit organization. Do we all agree on that one? Is there any opposition to that or anything you want to add? Okay, the next one is that the organization provides services to the community which are in line with the mission and pledge to the community that the commission is committed to. That is, that they serve women and girls in the Glendale community. Comments?
Madam Chair, just for clarification, are you stating that the majority of the work that the organization does has to benefit the Glendale community? Was that part of what you said?
It is worded here as the provide services to the community which are in line with the mission and pledge of this commission. That is, that they actually focus on women and girls in some part in the city, in some part of their program. And do we want that to be in Glendale or programs that are located outside of Glendale? Is that what you're getting at?
The question was, the bullet point didn't specify the Glendale community, and the clarification I was seeking was whether or not you want the organization to do the majority of its work to benefit the Glendale community specifically.
Yes, definitely.
Or maybe have a chapter or something that is geared towards providing the assistance to Glendale.
Okay. Any comments? Mr. Pillsbury?
That there's a specific presence in Glendale, but not that they need to exclusively serve Glendale. Same with the idea of women and girls. Obviously, we want organizations that serve women and girls, but many organizations serve men, women, and children, and I don't think we should preclude organizations that serve men, but that the programs that we are promoting are programs that serve women and girls and that need volunteers.
Okay. Mr. Walker?
Yeah, I think it's critical that we do the alignment with the vision and the mission of those organizations, with our mission and our vision, and also in compliance with our strategic plan, and that they focus on women and girls, but not necessarily just serving women and girls. And since we're commissioned here in the city of Glendale, I like what Commissioner Pillsbury mentioned, that they have a presence in Glendale, because I think we're here to really assist, support, and promote organizations that thrive or that seek to thrive in the city of Glendale.
Okay. I agree. Any other comments on that one? And are we clear on how that one's going to be stated? Okay. The organization have a need to recruit volunteers to help carry out their mission. I think most of us are on board on that
All
one.
organizations.
Yes. All the nonprofits, yes, yes. No more than 2 organizations present at each regular meeting. Have feelings about that?
I think we should talk about the presentations versus blurbs about upcoming events. One of the great strengths with the presentations this year have been that you really learn something from the presentation. So I think we want to make sure that we have 1 or 2 a time where we learn something about what they're doing, or we learn something about the people they serve, or something that you come away saying, I know something now that I didn't know before. But then also be inviting the organizations when they have an upcoming walk for this or candlelight vigil or whatever it is, that they know that this is a place that they can get some publicity, because we're actively seeking to promote involvement in the community.
Okay. Any other comments on that one? I agree, and I think we, just because of time constraints, I think keeping it at 2 per meeting is a doable goal. There may be times when we have more, and that's okay too, but do we have to, does anyone think that we should limit it to 2, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think it would depend on what we're talking about. For example, when you mentioned the 3 different hospitals in Glendale, Verdugo, Glendale Memorial, and Adventist, you wouldn't want to invite one without inviting the others at some point, but maybe there'd be a way, if we were going to invite them, that they each talk about a different volunteer opportunity. Like, one talks about candy stripers and one talks, I don't know what volunteer opportunities they have, but that these invitations would be not completely open-ended. They would be, we would like somebody to talk about this, the same way this year we said, please come and talk about osteoporosis, not anything to do with, that you know about.
I think we also leave that to the staff to communicate beforehand with the organizations that we're inviting, and to kind of sit down with them and kind of identify what is the form and the content of their presentation, just as what we've done successfully with our health programs.
Right. And the other idea here is that maybe we have predetermined topics or themes for each month, so that each month we are inviting a certain topic. It could be children, it could be the homeless, it could be healthy eating. That way we can get more of the, would have a theme each month like we did with the health awareness. Ms. Boomian, did you want to?
If I can comment on that, that also gives you the opportunity to plan in advance. It removes any arbitrary decisions that that staff may be posed with. It helps you create a program and an expectation on the part of the organizations if they apply, so that nobody gets rejected, but they know that for example, in the summer, you're going to be talking about outdoor activities, and you've got nonprofit organizations that are going to promote that. So that it also brings some expectation on the part of the organizations as to when to apply, and it removes any sort of arbitrary decision-making on the part of staff, and helps you maybe have a better annual program, because each month would be devoted to a particular theme.
Right. And just like our Sexual Assault Awareness Month and our Domestic Violence Awareness Months, we can have foundations and organizations here in Glendale come in and speak on their programs. Is there any objection to that, or?
In terms of direction for staff, is this something that staff will be presenting us with, suggested themes and so on?
I think we would be looking for those to get those from you. I think perhaps since January is around the corner, it might be a good idea to make a determination of what that should be in January. But beyond that, to bring back some suggestions, maybe communicate that to Ms. Babumian, and then we can have an outline for you at the next meeting of the various
Suggestions, ideas.
suggestions for the rest of the year.
So we just communicate individually to Ms. Babumian, and then she compiles it and so on.
Good idea.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So we could right now talk about January and try to come up with a theme or topic for January. January being New Year's resolutions, losing weight, healthy eating.
And
What
I
else
think-
can you think?
And I think it's also good to align it with our calendar in terms of what are the key events that's happening, so that
Right.
there's
Yes, exactly.
synchronicity.
Yes, yeah, and that will come also from the organizations. You know, they may, when we contact them, they may say, well, we'd like to come at a certain month so that we can talk about what we do, but also this event that we have. So it all kind of works together to help the organizations.
Well,
Pillsbury?
On our calendar, the only thing that's on for January is Yellow Ribbon Week Hands Project, which is an anti-violence project. So we could, along with that, pick organizations that are committed to cutting down violence in some form or other. So we talk about violence, what is community violence and what can we do?
And we can invite the bullying. Stop Bullying. Is that's an organization that works with kids and correct? So,
Yeah, I think a really critical topic, especially for children and young adults, would be cyberbullying.
Yeah, that would
So-
be a good.
And it's not a lot of. We haven't really had a lot of
search
presentations
for
on that.
for
yeah.
an organization, a nonprofit that can provide a speaker on that topic, as well as the Hands and Words, our nonviolence program in the schools.
So we would want to learn something about violence, and then we would like some opportunities for people if they want to get involved in some level in a volunteer way
Correct.
with community nonviolence.
And I think it's also important to identify what are the resources that these organizations can provide to the community and how the community can be able to access those resources.
May I maybe make a request with regard to the month of January? I think staff's heard the comments that you've made, and we'll certainly make an effort to do that. But in trying to align and meet the other criteria that you've set, I think we may want some flexibility in the month of January. If we're unable to find a local organization that serves the Glendale community that provides that type of information, we may actually not be able to do that. So I think we will endeavor to meet that goal, but if we could have the opportunity to work with the chair, if we're not able to do that, at least in the month of January, and bring something else back and maybe bring that at a later time. Okay. But we'll certainly try to do that for the month of January, but it is around the corner. It might be tough to line that up.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the themes would really be helpful guidelines in terms of chunking them and in terms of organizational purpose. But I think the main thing is the standards and the criteria that we're trying to really achieve here, so that is what Ms. Farpadian said, that we need to make sure that it's objective and that that we're not going to be cast in terms of being arbitrary and so on.
So I think what we can ask the commissioners to do is to think about this
themes
by the month and come up with some suggestions that we can forward to Ms. Babumian, and then we can start working on setting up the monthly programs
Exactly.
And just as we did in the health awareness last year, we had every month we had the topics selected, and I think we can do that this year as well.
Yeah.
And that way we won't offend anyone, hurt anyone's feelings, and we'll try to get everyone in the community involved and create awareness for volunteerism and carry forth our plan. Okay, let's see. Do I have a motion to that effect?
Have we finished all the criteria?
Yes.
We ended with no more than 2 themes,
Yes.
right? Or 2
Did
organizations.
yes, on that one, on no more than 2 organizations to present at each regular meeting. Ms. Baboumian, do you have any thoughts on that?
I know that for 2009, for the health presentations, historically, I had observed that there had been 2 presentations for each regular meeting. And in order to create some sort of cap and limit, it would be nice to have a number and be able to accept, X number of organizations. And then if there is spillover, they have the opportunity to utilize oral communications or find another appropriate month for them given the guidelines and the themes, should we adopt themes. And also for the sake of, moving the meeting along and not having
I was gonna
several
say that, yeah.
lengthy
Yes,
presentations,
exactly.
as informative as they all would be.
Yeah, sometimes we have a very heavy agenda, and we can, 2 is even a lot. So, so are
Is
we
there-
agreed that, Commissioner Walker?
Is there like a time limit that we give them?
Generally, with the health awareness talks, they were given time limits. Sometimes they went over the time limits, especially once there was question and answer. We've had some presentations go 20 minutes, over 20 minutes, but they are usually given a 5 to 7 minute timeline for their presentation.
I think it'll be helpful to have like a structure in terms of what is the allotted time for them, and then if there's question and answer, that can be a lot more fluid because that's more, informative. I hate to just sit here and listen for like 30-minute presentation wherein, you can find some of those information maybe on the web and so on. So I think it's something that staff, I'm sure will look into in terms of what the info is.
Okay, so then we're agreed that no more than 2 per meeting would be. Okay, any other comments on the report or any of the... Okay, so what we...
Commissioner
Walker?
Devine.
Yes.
In terms of additional criteria, I think it's also critical to identify strategic partnerships. I think also going back to our strategic plan in terms of maybe identifying how the organizations have partnered with us in the past, okay, and also how they have or they will contribute to the achievement of our goals and mission, so that again it becomes a sustainable partnership and that there's that mutuality.
Right. Yes, and that's important too. But we want to make sure that with this criteria, I think that we have stated, I think that would cover all of the people that we have, all the organizations that we've partnered with and that have supported us in the past. So I don't see a problem there. But good point. Okay, so Ms. Baboumian?
I'm sorry, just to clarify, Chair Devine, Commissioners, the criteria that has been presented to you, you are all comfortable with, specifying that the organizations do have a presence in Glendale, not necessarily headquartered in Glendale, but they do have some sort of presence, local office,
Or serving
program,
the community
in
of Glendale.
Glendale.
Yeah.
Right.
So the
Yes, we're
criteria
okay with
before
that.
you is...
Yes, that's okay.
And would you like themes at the next meeting for each month?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that would
So
be
I will
an
come
additional,
back with,
yes.
Staff will come back with themes.
And we're going to, all of us we'll be submitting to you our ideas.
Suggestions, yeah.
And you can kind of come up with the list for each month, and then we can decide on which ones we want to go forward with. We can do that either monthly, or we can do it at
If we
one
can
meeting.
have like an overview for
Yes.
the whole year.
One meeting, so we don't leave something out.
Yes, yes. Okay. So, do we have a motion that we will go forward with our Year of the Volunteer and accept the criteria that we've discussed tonight? Do I have a motion?
I move that we go forward with the Year of the Volunteer along the lines of as we discussed.
Second?
I second.
Do I have consensus? Consent?
Yes.
Okay, unanimous consent. Next item, please. Thank you, Commissioners.
At
item,
6, we have consideration and approval of co-sponsorship of Glendale Adventist Medical Center's Educational Heart Disease Prevention and Treatment Luncheon titled Electricity and Other Matters of the Heart. And at 8 is a motion providing direction regarding the co-sponsorship of the Adventist Medical Center's luncheon.
Can you give a brief report, please?
Chair Devine, members of the Commission, the Glendale Adventist Medical Center has asked the Commission on the Status of Women to co-sponsor an educational heart disease prevention and treatment luncheon. The event is to be held on Friday, February 12, 2010, at Glendale Adventist in Glendale. Registration and lunch will begin at 11:30 a.m., followed by the program at noon. The luncheon is provided by Glendale Adventist at no cost to those who wish to attend, and the purpose of the event is to educate the community at large about the dangers of heart disease, as well as treatment options and preventions. Attendees of the event will have the opportunity to participate in some free giveaways. A total of 10 items will be given away at no cost to those who attend the event by selection drawing, and Glendale Adventist is working on securing a free cardiovascular screening that can also be raffled off. And we have been asked as the Commission to provide the gift bags, the items that will go into the gift bags, and they are asking for approximately fillers for 200 gift bag items. This includes the standard promotional material that we have on hand, which is pen, sanitizing spray, emery boards, and Women Vote bumper stickers. In addition, Glendale Adventist has asked the Commission to donate 5 of the 10 giveaway items. At a past event similar to the one that's being proposed, which was the stroke luncheon back in September, the Commission donated 2 gift baskets along with 3 America's Daughters books that were donated to the Commission by Commissioner Pillsbury. And at this time, the Commission no longer has gift baskets that can be donated, but we do have the books on hand. Staff recommends donating 4 of these books, along with a certificate from the Fire Department for a ride-along and lunch that has already been secured. Glendale Adventist will cover all other costs for the event, including the location and food. And staff would respectfully recommend that the Commission provide direction regarding this co-sponsorship request.
Okay. This past year, we did the stroke awareness luncheon with Glendale Adventist, and it was a huge success. Over 200 people were there. It brought about great awareness for the Commission and for stroke awareness. So I think this is a really great opportunity for us to partner with them again. Do I have any comments, Commissioners, on the project?
In terms of the inventory of, our promotional items and so on, do we approximately know how many?
We have enough to cover this event, and as far as in the next couple of months, except for in March, which is our Jules event, in the next couple of months, we don't have any other events that we'll need to give things away to. We have plenty of emery boards and bumper stickers. We may need to stock up on sanitizing spray for future events, but we have more than enough to cover this event at this time, along with the rest of the materials as well. That's the sanitizing spray is the only item that I can see that we would probably need to order in the near future.
So there's really no fiscal impact on the Commission except for the opportunity drawing items. even those
have no cost
we have no problem with.
associated
So,
to them.
so this is strictly a partnership that is win-win for everyone, for the commission, for the people that attend, and for Glendale Adventist Hospital, which always does a great job. So, do I have a motion that we?
Also, another
Yes.
comment in terms of maybe PR and marketing for our group also. And I know we have extra souvenir program books. Maybe it's something that we can also provide in terms of giving to them.
Well,
Program books.
the programs. Well,
From the last.
we usually have a table set up where we have all of our information, and they get the resource guide and our domestic violence pamphlets. So we do that, and
Upcoming events, they get a list
an
of upcoming
a
events.
list of upcoming events that we might have. So
Selling
and
tickets
that-
to the jewels.
that we can,
Exactly.
well, that will be on the upcoming events, yes. And
So we have
and
a booth.
the PR, oh yeah, we have a table.
Okay.
They let us speak.
Okay.
We speak, and so that everyone is aware that the commission is taking part, is partnering in the event. That's what we did last year with every event that we did. We had 5 of them, and we were our logo and our name was on every one of the posters that they sent out and the newsletters that they sent out. I spoke at each one, and we got a lot of time and public exposure from these. Yeah, it was fabulous. Yeah. Any other comments? Do I have a motion then that we participate, that we partner with Glendale Adventist in this event?
I move that we participate as a partner for this event for Glendale Adventist.
Great. Do I have a second?
Second.
And we have unanimous consent? Yes. Okay, next item.
At 7 is consideration and discussion of sponsorship of Glendale Unified School District Yellow Ribbon Week Hands and Words Project. And at A is a motion providing direction regarding the sponsorship of the GUSD Yellow Ribbon Week project.
And a report, please, Ms. Baboumian.
For the past 4 years, the Commission has partnered with the Glendale Unified School District to bring the Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting project, which is an anti-violence program, to the schools during Yellow Ribbon Week. Yellow Ribbon Week is the 3rd week of January, and it's set aside by GUSD to raise awareness regarding violence and prevention efforts in the schools. Last year, the Commission was able to successfully help implement this program with 100% participation throughout GUSD. Historically, the Commission has allocated $3,500 each year towards the purchase of materials for the program. Of the 29 schools in the district, all 29 will be voluntarily participating in the Hands and Words project this year. This includes 20 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, and 5 high schools. And staff respectfully recommends that the Commission provide direction regarding this sponsorship request.
Comments? Commissioner Pillsbury.
I have a question. Do you know what constitutes the program in addition to taking a pledge and getting some free materials? I mean, are there speakers? Are there workshops? Are there, what's the content of the program?
I know that they weave it into their curriculum throughout the week, and the teachers talk about it, and the materials that are provided, in addition to a hand that they draw, the purple hand with the heart, it all helps build strong visual awareness so that the students are constantly reminded throughout the week about the program and what it means not to use hands and words for hurting. So I believe that the items usually include, we've ordered banners in the past. The banners are hung at all the schools, which are going to be reused this year. It also includes stickers and pins and informational pamphlets for the parents to have, for them as informational guides.
I think what happens, and as in anything else, it all depends on the teacher that is in front of the classroom, how important she feels this lesson, he or she feels the lesson is, and how they want to present it. And so some may do a week long, some do a day. I know that I speak with parents that the kids bring their paint, their little drawing home, and they wear the pins, and it's a great program. So it just, it's like everything else. It depends on how it is done in the classroom.
I think it's also a great marketing tool for us in terms of partnership with the community.
Absolutely.
And when we have our community booths and, all these events, I know when they see that we support this activity, they come up to us and say that, oh yeah, my child still has that hands thing. It's on our fridge and all that. So,
now, Ms.
it's a
Babumian, now you
worthwhile
had said that
project.
they wanted to do pamphlets. So did you, and I wondered if you had gotten back to the school district on the pamphlets, and is the $3,500, this is what we always donate every year? This is what we budgeted for?
Historically, yes. Last year, I believe it went a little over $4,000
Because of the banners.
because of the banners, and the school district was asked to cover the the amount that we went over the budget for ordering the materials. But in the past few years, it seems that is how much the commission has spent. And just to let members of the commission know, I believe approximately at this point we have about $60,000 in our budget, just so you all know, and taking this into consideration.
That's important. Thank you. Okay. So with $3,500, do we know exactly what they're going to be? Have they specified to us what they're, besides the pins and the buttons, the pins, the stickers, the paper, whatever else they need?
Stickers and the pins and the pamphlets.
And are the pamphlets going to be for everyone, or did they just decide on doing a certain grade level, or how?
They would
has
like
that been
to do
resolved?
it. As many as they can get, but they're going to maybe do 50 at the high schools and the middle schools, 50 at each school, and it would be more for the parents to see and pick up, and it's information for parents to be able to read about anti-violence programs and resources for students and parents.
Okay. Any other comments? Do I have a motion to allocate the $3,500 to the Hands and Words program to continue that work in our school district?
I move that we allocate $3,500 to support this project.
Second?
I second it.
And do I have unanimous consensus? Yes. Okay. Next item, please.
At 6, we have commission and staff comments.
Okay. Well, before we start those, I would like to acknowledge the last meeting for our two ex officios, Ms. Maricott, Commissioner Maricott and Commissioner Malakian. We also want to thank you for 1 year of fun and good work and ideas, and you've just been marvelous to work with and to have on the commission, and I wish you would stay for another 3 or 4 years if you could, but I know you have to be on your way with your life. Commissioner Malakian, are you off to school?
Yeah, well,
Senior year, or?
well, it's our senior year, both of ours, and we just finished with applications, so.
Okay.
Well, I just did. And I actually wanted to read part of my USC application to you guys.
Okay.
So the question was, tell us about an activity or something you've been a part of that's very important to you. The Glendale City's Commission on the Status of Women is one of the greatest organizations I've ever been fortunate enough to become involved in. As a junior in high school, I had begun seeing girls around me who were dependent upon physical experience and the approval of men in order to gain self-esteem and self-assurance. The Commission on the Status of Women and my role as a student ex officio allowed me to have role models that inspired me to be independent and strong in intellect and integrity, not gender. It was an honor to serve on the same commission as a group of commissioners so devoted to helping the community, whether through awareness or youth camps such as Rosie Goes to Wall Street. I've never been as influenced by such a group of amazing people who strive for success based on merit and who have given me the opportunity to do the same.
Well, that is beautiful,
Thank you, yeah.
and we feel just the same about you, that you have been an inspiration to us, and we thank you so much for those beautiful words. And let me read the plaque. It says, the City of Glendale recognizes the two of you, Ms. Malakian and Maricott, with gratitude for your outstanding service to the Commission on the Status of Women. We thank you and we wish you the best of luck. So would you please come and accept your plaques? Have them in the wrong hand.
Thank you so much.
All right. This is our fashionista. Thank you. Well-written words. Yes. I see wonderful futures in the lives of these two young women, and it's been our pleasure. Do we have? Shall we start around with? Did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say thank you so much. I mean, I know that we've been through like a lot of different events together, especially the Jewel City of Glendale. I mean, I know that's like our huge one where we all came together and like basically met up like 10 times a month. It's just been honestly a real good pleasure to meet all of you, and it's actually refreshing to see women who can be both assertive and fashionable and amazing and just really intellectual and not afraid to debate. That's just really inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Walker?
The same thing. I think we've been really privileged in terms of having these two talented student ex officios that we have. The leadership that they've, shown, all the other volunteer students that they've brought forth in the different events that we've had. It's been really a pleasure working with them and the fresh new ideas that they've done. And I know for a fact, too, that, they're outstanding students. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And good luck with your college applications.
Thank you. That's right. Shall we go to commission comments, or Commissioner Pillsbury, would you like to say?
Well, congratulations, and I hope the future is as exciting as you both want it to be.
Okay. So let's do commission comments now, and Commissioner... Yes, we are. We are. Yes, yes. So, but I think we were just kind of saying goodbye and thank you to the girls. So now we'll go to commission comments. Mr. Garsavanian, do you have anything to say?
This is my first meeting, so I probably have to get used to everything, the rules and everything, but I'm really happy to be here, and I think I'm going to be a very good positive energy for you guys.
Mr. Pillsbury?
I have a couple of things. First, I wanted to welcome Commissioner Garsavanian, and I look forward to working with you, and I know you have to jump right in, so it's hard.
I know.
Second, I wanted to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah. Tonight is the fourth night of Hanukkah, and the theme for Hanukkah is standing up for what you believe in, which goes so well with our commission, because that is really the theme of our commission too, and that segues into our Jewels of Glendale. So I invite you all to make nominations for the Women of Courage. And we really are looking for women who have overcome adversity in their personal lives, medical adversity, family violence, financial adversity, people who have struggled with things that we all struggle with, but come through in the end in a better place than they started. Women who are strong role models for younger women, and women that we can celebrate as a community. So it will be up, the forms will be up on the website tomorrow, which is the 15th, and they are due exactly a month later on January 15th, and we are looking forward to hopefully lots of terrific women that we can hear your stories and share your stories with the community.
Commissioner Walker?
The same thing. We want to welcome Commissioner Garsivanian. Okay, I still gotta get used to that. Okay, and we look forward to working with you, and also thanking our past commissioners who have volunteered their time and effort, and saying goodbye to our two wonderful student ex officios. Also, I just want to mention the past event that the Commission on the Status of Women participated, which is Senator Carol Lou's Women's Health Conference in Burbank, and we're really proud to be one of the partners for that event, and it was a wonderful event. We're in over, I think, about 1,000 women gathered, and a lot of wonderful resources to really bring forth women's health issues. And we look forward to working with Senator Carol Lou's office in this endeavor. Also, I'm really looking forward to our new focus or theme for next year, which is Year of the Volunteer. And I think really that spirit of volunteerism is something that we need to really encourage in our community, in our youth, and the Commission as a whole is an exemplar of these values that we really need to promote. And I'm really privileged to be part of this Commission, and the next, looking forward to our next year. And happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you. I'd like to also welcome the new commissioners, and I also look forward to working with all of you. I want to take this opportunity at the end of the year to thank all of the representatives of our local hospitals who provided us this whole year with guest speakers, health practitioners that came in to create awareness of women's health issues. And in particular, Denise Miller at Glendale Adventist, Amy Stricker at Glendale Memorial, and Margaret Ann Keene at Verdugo Hills for providing these speakers to us. It was fabulous, and we look forward to, I think it was one of the most successful years that this commission has seen, and I was so proud of everybody and our community. I look forward to promoting awareness next year on health issues. We'll be doing that as well as the volunteerism. I want to thank all of the supporters of the Commission, those of you that are out there that have watched us this year. I hope that you enjoyed all the programs that we've provided in the community and here at our meetings. I hope that you will join us and continue your support at the Hilton on March 11th for our luncheon. I look forward to that. After all, we need your support to keep the work going. And as you can tell from the commissioners tonight, we are all looking forward to continuing our programs and to being the best volunteers in this community that we can be. And to all of our friends and fellow commissioners and staff, I wish you all the best of holidays, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the new year, and we'll see you in 2010. Any comments from staff? None?
Just to echo, welcome to the new commissioner and our other commissioner when he is better, and thank you to the current commission for all the direction you provide and what you provide to the community, and thank you to the former commissioners as well for their leadership in the community as well, and happy holidays.
Thank you. And with that, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn.
Second? Second?
I second.
With that, this meeting is adjourned at 8:15.
LA, but it's December the 24th.